What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
It is Thursday, and that means it's time for another episode of Inside the Relationship. Listen,
Yep.
we got a lot to talk about as we do on each of these episodes.
Mhm.
Crazy media mixed down today. Like, crazy media mixed down.
Madness.
Listen, share this with somebody. Let them know that you are watching and share it with them so that they can watch as well. We love when we have people in the comments. We love the engagement that we get when people are a part of this show. So listen, sit back, relax. We might even have a guest today.
Hopefully so.
We might even have a guest today. So sit back, relax. Let's get into this episode of Inside the Relationship. Let's go.
Let's go.
You're watching Inside the Relationship with Denise and Ollie.
So sit back, relax, and let's talk about all things relationships. What's happening?
Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Evening.
Happy Thursday. I'm just sharing this.
Me too. Welcome, everyone. We hope your week is going well so far.
Indeed. So listen, we're sharing it. So we can't say we asked you to do something we didn't do. So here's the best way you can support us in this show. The best way you can support us in this show is by hitting the share button and sharing it with your network. The other way that you can support us is that if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, that you go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We are trying to build up our YouTube audience, our YouTube community. So make sure that you're over there. For those of you that are TikTok folks, we are building the TikTok community as well. You can find us on TikTok as well. The handle's the same, right beside our name. Where is that? Right over here at Denali LLC, everywhere. So wherever your social media choice is, go ahead and follow us there. Hit the share button. If you're watching now, let us know you're watching in the comments. If you are watching the replay, let us know you're watching the replay as well. Listen, let's do a quick introduction for anybody who might be new to this. This is Inside the Relationship. It is a relationship show about all things relationships, where we share our perspective on a lot of relationship topics. I'm Oliver.
I'm Denise.
And we're passionate about seeing relationships thrive, authors, speakers, and coaches in the relationship space. And this show it just has a bunch of segments. Yeah. So we talk about something in social media. There's a question of the week that comes in every week that we tackle. And then there's a marriage minute and then a last word. And that's how we end the show. So with that being said, we already asked everybody to share. We already asked everybody to jump in the comments. Let's get into this media mixdown. This media mixdown is crazy.
It is crazy.
All right, let's get into it. So for today's media mixdown, I'm watching a video of a marriage, right? So there's marriage, a wedding. Husband and wife are getting married. And they're at the altar, and you see them at the altar like any other wedding, right? Then comes the backstory before they keep going. It's a video of them at the wedding. But the video cuts is a backstory. The backstory is that the husband, the man caught the groom caught his fiance cheating on him. I think it was either the day before or so. It was like either days before or the day before the wedding.
So it was recent.
She's cheating on him with some other dude recently before the wedding. Unbeknownst to her, he videotapes it.
Did he videotape it or did someone videotape it? It doesn't matter really, I guess.
Well, the story says he videotaped it.
Okay.
He caught her. He videotapes her.
And so then he played it at the wedding?
And during the
The
ceremony,
ceremony.
here's what's crazy. You want to talk about, man, this guy wins he wins the petty award, because here's how he sets it up. It's like he's gonna say his vows to her, and he's like, babe, I love you so much. And listen, I just want to show you how much I love you. And the best way for me to do that is
So
is
I can't find the words.
I can't find the words to say. The best way to do it is to show you,
Mm-hmm.
and plays the video of her with this other dude.
In the ceremony, during the ceremony. Wow. Can I say something?
Yeah, because I don't know what to say. That's crazy.
I think I would like to do that.
You
I
would like
would
to do
have
that?
liked
You
to.
would have done
I
that?
would have liked to.
So
have
you
done
you
that.
are that petty. I'm taking notes right now. I'm taking notes.
I will put on my petticoat.
And you would go through the entire
I
thing
would
and
do
do
that.
that instead of canceling the wedding.
I would like to do it.
Okay.
I'll put on my petticoat.
You ain't
and-
gonna never get the chance to do it.
Well, I would have liked to. I would have loved to have done that. I know it's wrong,
But you would have done it.
ooh, I would have loved to have done it.
So here's what's interesting, right? And what I'd love to know from those of you who are watching or watching the replay, would you have gone that far? Would you have just busted in and be like, hey, listen, you know what? It's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have gone through the whole thing of videotaping it? Number one. Number two, would you take it even a step further to go through the ceremony
Mm-hmm.
so that you would get an opportunity to play the video?
As
I
long
would
as it
love
was,
to know what people would do.
as long as it was before the I now pronounce you husband and wife, obviously.
Right. It was before that.
The actual
The
union.
the
Yeah.
pronouncing. Right.
Yeah, man.
So it was it was before that, but I would love to know, right? Because I'll be honest. That I don't know if that's something that I would do, but I understand.
Yeah. I understand it too.
I understand I understand the emotion
Yeah.
and the thought process that would allow you to do something like that.
Mhm.
I do. For those of you who might be coming in and out, we're talking about the media mixdown, and the media mixdown today is about a gentleman who was getting married and caught his fiance cheating on him. I think it was the day before or the week before. It was really close before. Unbeknownst to her, he videotapes her and goes through the ceremony, gets to the part where he's going to say some vows, and he starts it out by saying, hey, you know what, babe, I love you so much. You know what, I don't even have the words to say to describe what I'm feeling. You know what, I'm going to just show you.
Mhm.
And shows the video of her getting on with this guy at the wedding.
I honestly probably would not have done it, but I would have loved to have done
Now, let me tell you what
Mm.
I would have loved. I would have loved to be there.
it.
I
What
would
you
have loved to
do?
been
You're just-
in the audience or been a groomsman at
Mm-mm-mm.
this fiasco.
At this what?
I'm not saying it again because I probably said it wrong. So I'm not saying it again.
Say it.
Nope, I'm not. At this atrocity,
That wasn't much.
whatever it is. The
Okay.
foolishness, I would have liked to be there at that stuff that took place.
Mm-mm-mm.
And I don't even really know what to say. Like, it's not a long media mixdown today because I don't know what to say about
That's
that.
it,
Like,
really.
that's
Yeah, that's
what I'd
crazy.
like to know, however, is if you're watching the replay or if you're watching now, I would like to know, is that something? Do you live that deep in petty land? Like, would you do that?
I wouldn't really. I wouldn't really do it, honestly. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't
I'm
do it?
just not that type of person.
Okay.
But I definitely would have thought about it.
Okay.
And you know what I might have done is I might have made other people aware of it,
Okay.
but not at the ceremony.
Not at the ceremony.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might have
So-
made other people aware of it beforehand.
So, I don't know. I got to go back and look because I don't think it. I got to see if I can find a longer video, because the video that I watched was somebody else's commentary on it,
Right.
right?
I would like to see if there's a longer
I would
video
like to see if
because
there's a
I would
longer
like
video.
to see more of the bride's reaction and possibly anyone else's reaction.
Right. So it did not show. So the clip I watched did not show the audience.
Right.
Now the bride, you did kind of get
Yeah, just a
yeah, a
profile, a
profile that
little
she
bit.
was like, wow,
Yeah.
I'm really getting played right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have liked to be in the audience. So um I'll just leave I'll leave
Yeah,
it
let's
I'll
go.
leave it alone. I was trying to wait for more people to kind of jump on just so that I could repeat it, but I'll keep going. You're just gonna have to watch the replay. I would love to know what people think about that. So um there's no comments right now. So we just going. I don't know if I would do it, but I understand how somebody could be driven to do that. You said you would do it,
I
which
kind of would
I'm making a
like.
mental note about the level of pettiness that I'm dealing with over here.
I would like to. I would play it out in my mind.
Mhm.
I would. I would. Maybe that would be my revenge, just playing it out in my mind. Like, oh, if I do it, this is what's going to happen. This is how he's going to feel. He's going to
Mhm.
feel as ridiculous as I feel. I want you to feel what I feel.
And here I get that, but knowing me though, knowing the me 24 almost 24 years ago, I don't know that I would have um I don't know that I would have videotaped. I think I'd have busted in.
I think you would have busted in
I
too.
think I would have busted in. So
What would
it
I
wouldn't even
do?
I wouldn't even have thought that strategically, like, okay, we're gonna get her really good. I'm gonna videotape it and I'm gonna go through the wedding.
I think I might have recorded it. I might have recorded it and busted in.
Yeah, but you can't do both.
I can record it and then bust in.
Oh, yeah, I guess you could do that. That's
And then
that's a level of that's diabolical.
no, it's not.
It is, because you gotta you keep your composure, which he did too. Keep
Mhm.
your composure the entire time watching yourself get cheated on.
Yeah, I would have recorded it and then bust in and been like, I got it on video.
But then you wouldn't have been able to go through the wedding because she wouldn't
I
have
would have
they
sent
would
it. Ooh, I would have sent it to everyone that was coming to the wedding and be like, this is why the wedding is off.
Interesting.
That's what I would have done.
Well, that's the media mix down, folks. Are you that petty? I guess is the question. Are you petty enough to do something like that? Are you petty enough to have that scenario and still show up at the wedding just so that you could play that video? That is crazy to me. When I heard that, I was like, okay, you win. You win. You are the mayor of Pettyville.
Pass me the petticoat.
Yeah. You win. You win. So listen, that's the media mix down. We're willing to take media mix downs from people. So if you have a suggestion, if you saw something crazy in the news or you saw something crazy on social media, feel free to email it to us, because we may have seen it, we may not have seen it. So you can email it to the email on the screen, admin@denali.org, and we'll make sure to credit you with sharing this and bringing it to our attention. All right. So that's the media mix down. We're going to keep it moving to the next segment. We have an interesting question of the week this week. I'm going to let you kind of tackle it.
Okay.
And I'll kind of jump in, but let's go ahead and get into the question of the week. What were you
I
about to
always
say?
forget. No, I was going to read the question of the week. I always forget
Okay.
that there's that thing.
All right. So here's a question of the week for this week.
I have a close friend who is having marital issues. It's clear to me that she needs to leave, but I'm unsure if it's my place to suggest leaving the marriage. What do you recommend I do? That's now, let's just off the bat say if the person is being abused,
Mhm.
right? If
Mhm.
it's like physical abuse or even emotional, whatever.
Mhm.
I feel like me as the friend, I feel like I have the right, authority, or whatever you want to call it, to be like, sis, that's not,
You need
you
to
need to
bounce.
bounce. That's not who God called you to be. You need to bounce.
Mhm.
But having said that, if it is just, this person is, dismissive and critical and all of those types of things, sometimes that can be abuse as well.
Mhm.
There's a thin line when it comes to a couple learning each other,
Mhm.
right? And there's some things I think that married couples need to work through, not abuse, but there's conflict that married couples need to work through.
Mhm.
And I don't think that it's the place of me or anyone else to say, you don't got to deal with that, you should leave. That's, you don't got to deal with that, you should leave. Outside of abuse, I think that you should let your friend know, I'm here for you, I'll support whatever decision you decide to make.
Mhm.
I'll support whatever you decide to make, whether you decide to stay and work things out or whether you decide to leave. I'm here for you, but it's not my place to automatically let my close friend know, you need to leave. Go ahead and leave. You don't need to deal with that.
Mhm.
Again, unless it's abuse, that's not my place to say. You should be the person to support, I think.
Okay.
That's my take
Um.
on it. Again, I feel like there's a lot of things sometimes that in conflict, so you're going to just leave at the first sign of conflict and not try to work it out.
Mhm.
Not that's not how it goes in marriage. You got to try and work through these conflicts.
Yeah, I do agree. Depends on what it is, right? There's certain things where you do have the liberty to be like, yeah, you should probably get out of there.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna say something that I don't really have. I can't substantiate, but this is just my feeling. I feel like men will not find themselves too much in this scenario as much as women will.
I kind of agree with that. Men is just like, well, I think because do you think that men don't talk to their dudes, their boys, whatever you want to call it, in that regard, and that's why? Or is it that you as the friend is just like, I don't even want to touch that, I don't want to get involved?
I think it's a combination of all those. I won't say that men don't talk to their guys about these kinds of things. They will, but it's not often. It's not. It doesn't often get to. Here's the decision you should make.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so somebody may complain, man. This chick is stressing me out and blah blah blah. I think she might be cheating. Whatever, whatever, whatever. We'll have these conversations, but very seldom. And then, again, I can't substantiate this at all, so I could be
Mm-hmm.
dead wrong. I feel like in my experience, very seldom does it come to, hey man, you should probably leave her alone.
Yeah.
Now, again, if it's something crazy, just like you talked about abuse, like if she threatening to kill you and she pulling out guns and knives and stuff,
I mean,
then people you might be
even
like, all right, hey,
yeah,
bro.
verbal, any type of abuse.
Well, I'm saying with guys though,
Oh, I
with
see, I see,
with
I see.
with
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
that's where it may get to that, where the guy's like, hey, listen, bro,
I see
you
what you're
should probably
saying.
check out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think women find themselves in this scenario maybe more than men do,
Why do you think that is?
because
Because women are nurturers naturally, and so you want to, even though it's not your child and it's
mhm,
not your spouse, because we're natural nurturers, we just want to make sure that our girl is okay, and we want to nurture her in that way.
it could be that. It could be a combination of that and the fact that often women are going to filter particular scenario through the lens of emotion first.
Yeah.
Whereas when a guy's having this conversation, they're going to filter it through logic first, right?
Mm,
And so logically, I may not just come straight out and be like, "Hey, bro, you need to leave." I may start looking at the logistics. Okay, well, what is she not doing? What is she? The conversation may be like that.
okay.
Whereas a lot of times, for example, here's a great example. If, let's say, the marital issue, because it doesn't say here, so we're
Mm-hmm.
speculating. Let's say the marital issue is that that the person cheated,
Infidelity.
right?
Uh-huh.
This infidelity. Often, because that will evoke a certain emotion in a woman, they're automatically going to be like, "Hey, you know
You
what?
should leave.
You got to roll out. You should
Yeah.
leave." Right? There won't be any logistical conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, "Hey, what happened? What was happening? What was leading up to it? Hey,
Right.
But guys, I think, would do that more first
Yeah.
before they just like, "Hey, what's
Yeah. What's the reason for the infidelity?
yeah."
What led up to that?
Now, to address the question, what do you recommend I do? This is me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I, barring that uh it's not abuse and there's no danger and that kind of thing, I'm not going to tell somebody what they need to do.
Me either.
Here's what I will say, and those clients of ours have heard me say this.
You
If
need to make a decision.
you have a decision to make,
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to say, but I'm not going to tell you what that decision should be. So,
Exactly. And I'm here to support you. Whatever decision,
whatever
whatever
it
you
is, right?
decide, I'm here to support you. I'll help you make this decision and I'll help you do whatever it takes to uphold that decision that you've made. I'll help you. I'm here for you.
And
But I'm not going to tell you what to do.
right, and often, and I'm taking this straight out of the question, often when you have some kind of notion around what you should do, you're probably right.
Yes.
So it says here, it's clear to this person that they need to leave, but they're unsure if it's their place to suggest it. So if you're unsure, then it ain't your place.
Right.
So there you go. You answered your own question.
Right. That's true.
If you're unsure whether it's your place to suggest leaving the marriage, then it ain't.
Most of the time.
Nine times out of 10, it ain't.
Right. I was going to say most of the time you're probably right, but there could be some instances where you should say something.
Tell me what those instances are.
Oh, I'm just saying if you're unsure if it's your place to to suggest leaving the marriage, no.
Yeah. I I feel like
Yeah, no.
if you're unsure, you've already answered your question. It ain't your place. So what would I
Yeah.
recommend? You can't tell them to leave. What you can say is, "Hey, listen, you need to here's some things you need to weigh." And once you
Yes.
weigh those things and whatever the steps are,
Yeah.
then you make the decision that you feel like is best for you. But I'm not rolling up into nobody's situation and be like, "Hey, this is what you got to do."
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. You could I think too that you could definitely lay out like sis, this has been happening like for the past couple years now, and this is the cycle that I keep seeing. You do have a decision to make. Are you okay with this being the cycle in your marriage? Or do you want something better for yourself? You have a decision to make.
And let me make a controversial statement, a statement that may that may rile up a lot of women, but it's a true statement. Women often get their friends in trouble.
Their friends in trouble?
Right. Like, take this situation, right? Let's say the recommendation is, yeah, you need to go tell her that she needs to leave her marriage, right?
Hmm.
Often what happens is, because women filter things through the lens of emotion,
Hmm.
they come in there guns blazing, "Girl, you need to leave, da 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 da," and that now eliminates the opportunity for any level of restoration or reconciliation.
Hmm.
So now you have your girlfriend making some rash decision based on all these emotions that you brought to the table
Yeah.
and all this stuff you done riled up in her, and
Yeah.
now she go do something reckless. You go on with the rest of your life. Her life is trashed,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
God forbid she realizes that she made a mistake and it's too late.
Too late.
The only thing she can blame is, "Oh, well, I listened to all these ladies that took me out to eat and was, in my ear."
They can't all be wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
So that ain't your place.
Yeah. I would, yeah, not say anything. Sis, I'll support whatever decision you make. I'll even pray with you right now. Let's pray about it. I hope that you're led to make the right decision for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, like the media mix down, let us know what you think because I'm not saying that we are the authority
Mm-hmm.
on the answer to this question, but since this person asked us, what do we recommend? We recommend that you already answered your own question. You
Mm-hmm.
don't think you're not sure if it's your place, it ain't your place.
Mm. Yeah.
So
Support
there
and pray.
yeah, support. You can say some things. You can kind of break down the situation at face value. Hey, this is what happened. How are you feeling? What are you thinking? Allow that person to guide the conversation
Right.
as opposed to you going in there and saying, hey, you should do this and here's how you should feel and
Right.
this is what you should think and you shouldn't be letting him do this and you need to no, no,
Yeah.
no. Allow that person to process and you just be a support system. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for you. I'm gonna cheer you on. If you need me, I got you
Right.
one way or the other.
Yes.
That's
That's
what we
it.
recommend.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think about the question of the week in the comments. And also, if you have a question, because these are questions that we just take. So if you have a question that you would like us to tackle, send your questions to admin@denali.org
Yeah.
and we will do our best. We will give you our perspective on those questions. All right.
Absolutely.
Um, no question is off limits. No question is off the table. We either can help or we can't, and we'll do our best to help if we can. All right. So listen, let's keep it moving. Now, I know those of you saw the flyer, saw that Dr. Parks is going to be with us. Dr. Parks is actually
He's
traveling.
traveling. Yeah. So it's okay.
So I'm not sure if he's going to get on here or not, but we're going to go ahead and jump into the marriage minute. Dr. Parks was going to be here for this segment that's coming up now, which is the marriage minute. If he happens to pop in, then that's perfect.
Right.
But if he doesn't happen to pop in, we'll get him in on another episode coming
Mm-hmm.
up soon. So with that being said, let's get into the marriage minute. So for today's marriage minute, and the reason why I wanted Dr. Parks to be here is because this month is Men's Mental Health Month, right?
Yes.
And um, there's a question that maybe obviously you would pose to me, or
Mm-hmm.
that women would pose, and that question is do what can women do to support the mental health of the men in their lives?
Yeah, because I think it's an important question
Hmm.
because, like we were saying before in the other segment, women are so much more, or can be, so much more emotional. Their emotions come into play quite often in any type of scenario:
Hmm.
happy, sad, scared, whatever, frustrated. Whereas men, they tend to hold a lot in or to themselves.
Hmm.
They may talk to one of their dudes, one of their guys or whatever, but I think because of this I don't know if you want to call it a stigma, or because of how society is, men are supposed to man up all
Hmm.
the time.
Hmm.
Men are supposed to just man up, don't cry, keep it to yourself, just keep it moving. And that is a lot on our men. That is a
Hmm.
lot because men do that. Most men, I think, do that. And it is to the detriment of their mental health.
It is.
And so, what can we, as the women in your lives, do to help you feel like we are here for you? We want you to open up to us. We want
Hmm.
you to talk to us. We want you to let us know when you're not feeling 100%. Or we want you to let us know when you have a lot on your mind and you're just grappling with stuff. Like, good example, you do it all the time. I'll say to you, hey, what's up? You look like something's on your mind. Are you okay? What's up? Nothing. I'm good. And I know that something is on your mind. I know it. And
Yeah.
typically you'll eventually tell me, but what can we do as women to make you feel like we are your safe space?
So you kind of answered the question. You answered the question in the question, right? But let me just say this: I mental stamina is very important, and many men are taught, like you said, to suppress that
Yeah.
in the name of being strong,
Right.
in the name of not appearing a certain way to the people around them,
Yeah.
right? I am the same way, and I wrote about it. Same just plug. I don't
Can't
know.
see
Can
it
you?
that well. No,
Yeah.
it's too
You got to come
glary.
behind it. Come behind. Bring your face over here. I
Oh.
wrote. I wrote a book about it, right? And the book is called "Overcoming the Man Loss" for the man who wants to be his best despite what he was taught, because that's something I grapple with too. So there's 8 areas that I grappled with. One of them is mental stamina. I write a chapter about it. Now, to answer your question, and let me just say this: if you want the book, shoot me a message.
Period.
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 I was gonna say something else,
Yeah, I
but
know you were. Go ahead.
it's a good book. So here's the answer to the question. And part of that, part of your question was the answer. You said the phrase "safe place" in your question.
Mm-hmm.
What men need from the women in their lives is to know that the space that they occupy with this woman is safe.
Now, would safe be different for each man?
I think safe, like a cake, has some key components,
Mm-hmm.
but how it looks may look different,
Got
right?
you. So
So
the cake is safe.
the cake is
Whatever
safe,
type of cake
right?
it is how I want you to be safe for me.
And safe has some key components, right? So safe means I need to be able to come to you, and if you create a scenario where I can open up, what I don't want is to be ridiculed
Right.
for what I say.
Correct.
What I don't want is for you to make me feel like I'm less than based on what I say. So like I say something, you like, oh, what's wrong with you? Why you feel like that? You know,
Mm-hmm.
you shouldn't even be feeling like that.
But you do. Yeah.
Or so safety involves that. Safety involves a place where confrontation does not follow communication. So if
Okay.
I communicate something to you, it should not be followed by confrontation,
Mm-hmm.
because then if that is what happens, I will become gun shy.
Yeah.
And if I become gun shy, now there will be no communication,
Right.
and you won't get me to open up, and I will suppress. And now comes this,
And
what we're dealing with.
that's a vicious cycle too, because I snap back at you for the way you're feeling and I
Hmm.
ridicule you and make you feel bad. You become gun shy and then I fuss at you because you don't never open
Because
up.
I'm gun shy.
It's a
Right.
vicious cycle.
Yep. And that wear and tear
Mm,
culminates in me, and which it's seemingly out of the blue,
yeah.
but it culminates in me disappearing.
Yeah. And disappearing is not necessarily physical,
It could,
your
right.
presence.
It
It
could be
could be.
physical, it could be
Yeah.
mental,
Yeah.
it could be both,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it may seem out of the blue, man. Where did that come from? No,
Mm-hmm.
it came from somewhere. It came from the years of me not feeling like I could say something.
Right.
And when I do say something, it either comes back to me right then and there, or it gets thrown, or it doesn't come back to me right then and there,
Mm-hmm.
but it gets thrown in my face 3 months down the road when we're in
Yeah.
another scenario. Well, you know what? I can't even trust you to handle that right now, because remember, you couldn't even handle that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So the safe place is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing is, and maybe all of this falls under the umbrella of safe place, right? So knowing that there's going to be no confrontation on the heels of communication. Also knowing that there's going to be a level of support
Mm.
that helps to encourage.
Okay.
So there's all kinds of support, right? Your support doesn't necessarily feel like encouragement,
Hmm.
right?
Say, expand on that some more.
So let's say, for example, I share something and you're like, um, all right, whatever you say.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily in a mean way, but just like, okay, whatever you say.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where it ends.
So it's supportive, but
But what I may need is, hey, okay, babe, whatever you say, what do you need to help this work, or what do you need
got
to
you.
make this comfortable, or whatever the thing is. Like there has
Yeah.
to be something in addition to that
Mm-hmm.
that now puts your support into the bucket of encouragement,
Yeah.
right? Because anybody could be like, all right, cool, if that's how you feeling, all right, whatever,
Yeah.
and they accept it, but the guy may still walk away feeling like, okay, they said okay, but I don't feel like they on my team with this,
Right.
or they have my back with this.
Yeah. It's almost as if they're saying, when a woman says that to their man, it's almost as if she's saying, whatever you say just to get him to stop talking about it. Like,
and
whatever you say. All
and
right.
sometimes
I got you.
sometimes
Sure.
that is the case, and
Mm.
generally we know the difference.
Yeah.
We know the difference, right? Because and we talk about this all the time. We talk about tone, we talk about timing, we talk about temperature. So
Temperature.
you know the difference when somebody's like, okay, yes, whatever you say, babe, or all right, whatever you say.
Mm-hmm.
We know the difference. We know what that means. We know one has more opportunity to lead to encouragement, while one is
Dismissive.
you getting blown right. You getting blown off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think that's important. I think that's important. Men need to know that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Gabriel in the comments. I pray that my wife hears my heart because I don't always say what I feel.
Now that's a tricky one. I appreciate you saying that
Mm-hmm,
because there are a lot of people, even women, not just men, who don't necessarily say what they feel,
mm-hmm,
but they hope that the other person hears their heart. And that's tricky because if you say that to me,
mm-hmm,
or if you were to think that way, right? Like, man, I'm not saying what I feel, but I hope she gets me. I hope she
mm-hmm.
understands my heart. That's almost unfair to me
Okay.
because now I feel like I have to guess and assume because you aren't necessarily saying what you feel.
Mm,
And then when I get it wrong, it's the possibility for frustration on your part
mm,
because I'm not giving you what you need. Now, hear me. I understand that sometimes it's really difficult to
mm,
express what verbally what we're feeling. I get that. I'm like that. I'm a procrastinator by nature when it comes to communicating.
mm,
So I get that, but I think what's important in that situation is to say that, is to say, babe, I'm probably not saying this right, or I don't really know how to say what I feel,
mm,
but I hope you understand me. Let's have a conversation about it. Let me know what you think I'm saying, or what you think I'm saying from my heart. And then from there we can go back and forth and I can
mm.
say, yeah, you're absolutely right, or no, that's not quite what I'm feeling.
Right.
But I think it starts with letting your spouse know, I'm finding this really difficult to say what I feel, but here's what I got. And you let me know what you hear.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
I agree. And what I was going to say is that can work if there's a game plan.
Okay.
So there has to be a game plan. Where I think where we mess up is that there's no game plan. So we kind of leave it to chance. So I can't really communicate to you how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't taking the time to really kind of decipher and learn,
Mm-hmm.
um, or your assumptions are way off,
Mm-hmm.
or any number of things, right? What often we don't see, and we see this all the time with couples, what we often don't see is that there's a game plan put in place, right? So, hey, listen, babe, I'm not always going to be forthcoming with how I feel.
Right.
In the instances where you think there may be more, ask me what I think.
Yeah.
Because you already know that you're going to often filter things through the lens of emotion. I'm going to often filter things through the lens of logic. So in order for me to get to what you think, I have to go through what you feel. In order for you to get to what I feel, you have to go through what I think. So if you ask me what I think, then in some roundabout sort of way, you may be able to decipher now what I'm not saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And but we have to put that out there on the table.
Right.
What happens is couples don't put that out there on the table, and then we're guessing and we guess wrong.
Right.
And then we react to the wrong guess.
Right.
As opposed to trying to fix something.
Yeah.
And that sends us down a road we don't want to go down.
Yeah.
Right. Gabriel said we're trained as young men to take and not share. We have to be untrained. We do.
And that's what you were saying.
That's what I was saying.
That's what you were saying just a few minutes ago. Did it work?
That's what I'm talking about in this book right here.
That's exactly what his book is about, and that's what you said a couple minutes ago.
That's what I'm talking about. The necessity for the book. It talks about my journey of unlearning.
Yeah.
And relearning. So that some of these things wouldn't be a part of it. And again, to answer your question, what do we need? The safe place is important, right? And then what many of us need is a woman who is willing to investigate. And let me explain what I mean by that. So often, because of the disparity between thoughts and feelings, often because the path to your thoughts are your feelings and mine is vice versa, often women don't want to take the time to go through what I think to get to what I feel. That's frustrating.
Wow.
So they act on their frustration, and that frustration causes them not to be willing to investigate. Sometimes you got to ask some questions. Sometimes you got to be like, hey, babe, you know what? I notice XYZ. Tell what's that about?
Yeah.
Like you got to be willing to do some investigation sometimes.
Yeah.
And often there's a frustration around, well, he ain't never saying nothing, and he don't, and every time I ask him how he feels, he just give me these, logical answers, da. Okay, that's cool, but don't let that frustration cause you to not be willing to investigate.
Yeah.
Because investigation will allow you to learn something about this brother, and the more you act on what you learn, the greater the space you create, the safer the space you create.
Yes, safer. Yeah.
Which in turn now allows me to be like, wow, this man, she just be, wow, okay. So she's like really feeling what I'm saying. She's really looking for the, all right, here's what you get it in pieces
more
after
comfortable.
that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a give and take. And often, and we see this often with couples, that give and take, people don't want to do it.
Right. Yeah. I hear a lot of times he should
already
up and
know.
tell me.
Oh, yeah.
He should just man up and tell me. I don't got time for all that investigation.
Yeah. Okay. Don't have time for it then.
Yeah.
Let us know how that works out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know how that works out for you. Because I guarantee you, the couples who are not working through this in a healthy way have issues. And the issues may not be front facing, but if you pull each of them aside, somebody's got some level of frustration around what's happening or not happening.
Yeah.
I put money on it.
That's tough. That's tough.
We're not an open book like women, so it takes to investigate. There's also a time to investigate. Sometimes I like to marinate before I am ready to express.
Me too. So I get that.
And all of that needs to be put on the table.
Right.
So the reason why things were so crazy communication wise between us in the beginning is because we never took the time to identify and learn each other's communication style.
Right.
And once we identify and learn each other's communication style, now we know how to approach certain things. She needs time to marinate.
Yeah.
She needs time to think. She needs time to process. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I do it all on the fly.
Yeah.
So now I'm just beating down the door, so to speak. Why you ain't saying nothing? How come you don't have nothing to say?
Yeah.
Da, 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 right? And I'm just shotgunning it the whole time.
Which doesn't help me
Doesn't
to
help.
become more forthcoming.
Right.
It just makes me retreat more.
Right.
Yeah.
And what you do
Or
is
marinate more.
right. And what you do is you talk about, you game plan these things in times where nothing
There's
is
no
going on.
conflict. Yeah.
Like the time to game plan this is not when you are in the midst of something that you feel like is going wrong. We'll have conversations. Hey, you remember when we talked about such and such last time? And you remember what I did the last time that we talked about it? Well, here's how we can do that a little differently. Or when you see those signs or hear those phrases or see that body language, give me 10 minutes. Or give me set yourself up for success.
Right.
What I've vowed with this woman is that I'm never going to be playing a guessing game. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Just like some people don't have time to investigate, I don't have time to be guessing.
Right.
Like let's lay out. Let me see what I'm dealing with. Give me the blueprint, and I can follow the blueprint. And if there are changes that need to be made to the blueprint, I will share with you. Hey, listen, you know what? Here's the reason why that didn't work last time. Because when this and this and this and this happens, here's what I need from you.
Right.
And now you know, right? So part of that, what do men need as it relates to men's mental health as support? We need a safe space. Many people have heard, and if you haven't, you're about to hear it now. Many people have heard this phrase that a man does not want to be in battle outside of the home all day long and come home to another battle.
Right. Yeah.
And listen, I hear all the other people who say, well, it works both ways. I know it does. We talk about men today. So let us have what we're talking about.
Yeah. Because,
all right.
Yeah.
So when it's women's, we'll flip the script. We know it goes both ways. That goes without being said. So the safe space, your willingness to investigate, because many of us, like Gabriel said, many of us have been taught not to be forthcoming.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the whole point of investigation is to learn things that are not visible, surface level.
Yeah.
And if you love the person you're with, you should be willing to do that.
Right.
Period. You can't even, normally I would say something and I'd be like, fight me. You can't fight me on that. Because if you care about the person, you're going to be willing to learn about them. And learning often involves some level of investigation. Period.
Yeah.
There's no fight against that.
Right.
Either you do or you don't. And if you choose not to, the assumption I'm going to make is that you don't care as much as you say you do.
Wow.
Period. If you're not willing to investigate, if you're not willing to see what you have in front of you and create a scenario that allows for the successful navigation into the place where you want to go, then you don't really care about me as much as you say you do.
Yeah. That's tough. And as far as the support goes that you were saying, that we should be giving to our men or to our spouses, to our husbands, the support, once you are vulnerable with me, right? I've created this safe space for you to be vulnerable with me or to me. You are now vulnerable. You've been vulnerable. The support then can look like, wow, babe, that is tough. I understand, why you feel that way. How can I help? And you tell me how you can help, and then I do it. Yep. It's one thing to say, I got you. I understand that was tough, but we got to go a little bit further and we have to do it. And then sometimes we might not even know what to do, where to start. And we have to let you know that, babe, that's tough. And that is crazy. I'll help you. I don't know where I'm going to start, but I promise you that I am going to investigate
Mhm.
how to go about supporting you with whatever this is.
Yep.
And then we have to go about doing that. We have to research and investigate whatever it is
Mhm.
and support you
Yep.
or our husbands.
Let me tell you something. The quickest way to get your husband to never open up again is to go through that entire process
Mhm.
and get to the point
Yeah.
where they share what they need and you
Yeah.
don't do it.
Can you imagine?
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
That's tough.
It ain't gonna never happen. I ain't gonna never do that again.
Yeah. Wow.
Ever. You
Because you feel
create
how?
because I feel like I played myself.
Yeah.
You got me to this space where now I'm ready to open up.
Mm-hmm.
You got me to this space where I'm ready to kind of share. You've been kind of picking my brain. I've been coming outside of who I am and what I've been taught and what I'm used to,
Mm-hmm.
all only to get all the way down to what do you need from me and here's what I need from you, and you like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Ooh.
Nah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think though why a wife might say that, no, I don't want to do that, might be because she doesn't know how. She's afraid to, because she doesn't want to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think though, if that's what the reason is why she doesn't want to do it, she's got to let you know and be
Say,
like, I don't know how that's gonna work out. I'm kind of leery to do that
mm-hmm.
because I don't know how, or because I don't want to mess up and then you feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to say that to you.
Right.
And then, put the disclaimer, this is what I feel like I can do. This is what I'm going to do. Prayerfully, I'm going to get it right
Mm-hmm.
so that you feel supported. But if I don't, let me know. But yeah, to not do it.
Right. And obviously, I really, this should go without saying, but man, the social media community is so finicky. I'm going to say it anyway. Obviously, we're not talking about stuff that's stupid.
Of course.
Or stuff that's way out the box or stuff that is not conducive to a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
If you tell your spouse what you need from them to be successful in this relationship, they should be willing to do it, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're not talking about no foolishness, no craziness, no off the wall stuff. We're talking about healthy relationships.
Right.
They should be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Gabriel said, taking time to work on the marriage, you need to take a step back and have these deep conversations. Yeah. Absolutely.
We get so busy with life. We don't take work. We don't take the time to work on marriage.
We don't.
It's true.
We don't. And the thing that we ingrain in the couples who work with us is that if this marriage is important to you, you're going to have to put in the same time, intentionality, and investment that you would in everything else that's important to you.
That's right.
If your career is important to you, you ain't showing up late. You ain't just doing work anyhow.
Yeah.
You ain't just talking to your boss or your team anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
There's a system that you follow.
Yeah.
And you're on top of it. If your schooling is important to you, you ain't skipping class. Mm-hmm. You ain't failing tests. You studying. You doing. If your car is important to you, you washing it. You changing the oil. You ain't out here just letting it go. And one day the engine blows. Your relationship, you should be doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which means some level of sacrifice.
It does.
And some level of commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just is what it is. Mm. And either it's important to you or it ain't.
Or it isn't.
And if it ain't, trust me, it shows.
Yeah.
Even when you don't think it does.
Mm. Wow.
It shows. And maybe not to everybody, but because we do this day in and day out, it shows. Mm-hmm. There are little subtle things that I can pick up and be like,
that ain't working.
Connection is off.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So that's a couple of the things we need. We need support. We need this place to be safe. We need you to be willing to investigate. And once we get all the way through that process,
you need us to follow.
We need you to execute.
Yeah.
On what you've learned. Mm-hmm. Because what that does now is that instills our confidence in you. Yes.
And you feel more comfortable opening up some more.
And you said it. With confidence comes more comfort. Yeah. With more comfort comes more communication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there you have it. That's the
That's good.
marriage minute. And we'll probably revisit this before the month is over if I can get Dr. Parks. He's traveling, and I kind of figured he said he was going to be here, but I kind of figured,
It's okay.
with the traveling, it might be a little tight,
Yeah.
for him to come through. So we may have, before the month is over, have him come and address this from a clinical perspective as well. Um,
That
but
would be
yeah,
great.
that's the marriage minute, and here's how I would end this: is listen, talk to your spouse.
Mm.
Talk to your spouse, which ironically is gonna go hand in glove with the last word. But talk to your spouse and create a game plan. Ask some questions. Take the time to learn about each other. Hey, listen, when you do this and this, what are you thinking? When you say this and this, is there something you really mean?
Yeah.
When you let's get to the bottom of all of these things and learn each other
Hmm.
so that we can create a blueprint and set ourselves up for success.
And don't think that because you've been married for several years that you don't need to learn your spouse.
Right.
You are forever learning because you are forever evolving. Times change, things change in your household, things change in your family, things change. You change your mind. You don't like the things you used to like, or you do like the things that you didn't used to like, or just whatever.
Yeah.
Things change. We're always evolving, and it's always something different. And because of that, there's always something to learn about your spouse.
There is. And let me say this. Since we're talking about men's mental health,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let the men have their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're talking about men's mental health, for all of the ladies who may be watching or watching the replay, you make the first move. You go to that man and be like, hey, babe, you know what? I just want to make sure that I'm supporting you in the way that you need.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And share with them what you see. Share with them what you'd like to see. Share with them, and then allow them now to either agree or redirect,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can now learn something about them.
Yeah.
Don't wait for them to come to you, because that's another thing we see. Well, if he don't never say nothing, then nah. Make the first move.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. You already observing stuff anyway. You might as well go talk about it.
Mm. Yep.
You might as well go talk about it.
Yeah.
And you might be surprised. You may get a reaction from your man that is like, wow, I didn't even realize she cared that much.
Wow. Yeah, that's sad.
So, and don't take that wrong either,
Mm.
because you want them to recognize that you care that much, because them being confident in the fact that you care that much is the doorway to where you're trying to get to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's our 2 cents. That's the marriage minute for this week, talking about men's mental health and how the women in our lives can be supportive in that endeavor and making sure that our mental is healthy. And let me say, this is the last thing I'm gonna say before we go to the last word. Don't you all think for a second that how strong you see we are, how dedicated you see we are in certain areas, how consistent you may see we are in certain areas, how we get up and bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan and all of that. Don't mistake that for a second. Don't mistake that as we got it all together.
Yes.
I am a part of a men's group. I I've gotten the privilege of uh co-facilitating a men's group. And this past week,
Mm.
I asked one simple question, because this is what I felt led to ask. And it went into 3 questions. So here are the 3 questions that I asked. The 3 questions that I asked was, how healthy is your mental? Number
Mhm.
1. Number 2, if you don't think it's that healthy, what do you think you need in order for it to be healthy?
Mm.
And number 3, what do you need from the group?
Mhm.
And I'm not going to break the confidence of the group, but I'm telling you, don't you think for a second that all these strong hard rocks out here got it all together. Because if you could have heard the stuff that was shared, we need a safe place. We need support. And we need you to be willing to investigate.
And then follow through.
And then execute.
Execute. Yeah.
Trust me when I say that. And if you don't want to trust me, go talk to your man.
That's good.
That's good. All right. Baby. That's it. That's the Marriage Minute. And that leads us into a very apropos last word. Actually. So you ready?
Ready.
It's time for the last word.
It's time for the last word.
See, I'll let you say it this time.
Yeah, right.
All right, here's the last word. The last word is simply this, and it goes along with, if you saw the thumbnail, the graphic said, that is not what you said. The last word is say what you mean. That's the last word. Say what you mean. Let me give you some context of where that's coming from. So I was listening to a guy. He was talking about communication. There's a guy that I follow on TikTok, real great guy in terms of, marriage advice, relationship advice. And he was talking about communication, and he gave a story about how his wife, before she went to bed, told him, "Hey, babe, before you go to bed, can you put the food away?" Right? So he goes into the kitchen. There's 4 pots on the stove with food. He takes the 4 pots
and puts them in
cleverly arranges them in the refrigerator. And he's like, word, I did it. Goes to bed. Gets up in the morning. His wife is upset with him. I thought I told you to put the food away. And he's looking at her like,
I did.
Did you look in the refrigerator? It's in there. Now, fast forward. What she was really saying was, get the glass containers out, put the food in the glass containers, put them in the refrigerator.
Right.
Wash the pots, put the stuff in the dishwasher, empty the dishwasher, clean the kitchen and stove, wipe down all this stuff. That's really what she was asking him to do. And he was like, you didn't say none of that.
Yeah.
You didn't say none of that. You said put the food away, and that's what I did. I followed directions. Now, for all the petty folk out there who are going to be like, I shouldn't have to say all that. Okay. Whatever. Let us know how that works out for you.
Yeah. Say what you mean to say. But I think that in that situation, that's kind of like, well, any situation, it's like a learning curve.
It is.
Because we're going to have, unless we talked about it beforehand, which most of us don't talk about those types of things.
We don't.
We're probably not going to do, unless we talk about it, and unless we're very, very much alike, we're probably not going to do it how I was thinking when I said it. You're probably not going to do it that way.
Right.
So there's that learning curve. And I think maybe if they've never talked about it before and she was upset with him, she probably shouldn't have been upset with him if she never specifically said what she meant by that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
She shouldn't have been upset. That's a whole nother conversation. But yes, you're right. She shouldn't have been upset. I understand why she was upset, because she made an assumption, which is what we quite often do.
Right.
And you know what they say about assumptions. I'm not going to say it, but you know it because you've heard it. It makes something out of you and me. And it always does. Because what this will do is create some level of conflict. Now, you got 2 options. One, you talk about this stuff ahead of time.
Yeah.
And like we just talked about with the mental health thing, you create a game plan and a blueprint. Or you learn by trial and error.
Yeah.
But if you learn by trial and error, you better execute better next time.
Right. So after you put just the pots in the refrigerator and I come to you the next morning and I'm upset and I'm like, you ain't even do what I asked you to do. And you say you didn't say all of that. Then we got to, instead of arguing about what I said and what I didn't say or how I said it, we got to sit down and have a conversation about what I meant. And then you also have to say to me, I really need for you to say what you mean, so that there's no so that you don't assume that I know what you mean.
And that doesn't mean you got to say it every time. Let's set a precedent. So if I say, hey, babe, put the food away, now that we've had this conversation, now I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Now I know that means scrub the
Right.
walls and clean the floors and get down on all fours and bring out the toothbrush. Now I know that because we said that, right? But you got to be willing to say what you mean, right? Communication, and we say this quite often, nothing should be left to chance.
Correct.
The moment you leave something to chance, you open the door for assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Assumption is going to lead you often in a place you don't want to be.
Right.
You can head off all of that by just being upfront,
Yeah.
having a conversation, crafting a blueprint, and then executing.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it.
Good last word.
That's all we got. Listen, for those of you who are watching now, we saw some folk come in later on. If you missed the media mixdown, I'm just going to share with you what the media mixdown is. You can go back and watch it and let us know what your thoughts are. But here's the media mixdown, because I thought this was crazy. Media mixdown today was, and we're recapping this before we go. Media mixdown today was a gentleman who was getting married. His fiance cheats on him either the day before or the week before the wedding. He videotapes her. And at the wedding, when it's time for him to do his vows, he starts out by saying, hey, listen, babe, I love you so much. I'm at a loss for words. I don't even know how to say what I have to say. I'm just going to show you, and plays the video. What I want to know is, are you that petty? Because I crowned him the mayor, the king of Pettyville. Is that something that you would have done? That's what I'd like to know. That was the media mixdown. The question of the week, we talked about a person who is having marital issues, and their good friend was like, I don't really feel like it's my place, but I really want to tell her to leave, and asked what she thought we should do about that. The Marriage Minute was talking about mental health and what our men need from our women in order for our health to be our mental to be healthy. And the last word is, say what you mean.
Say what you mean.
Right. So listen, man, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. Those that were in the comments, Gabriel, shout out to Gabriel in the comments. Appreciate you for being a part of this. Listen, if you want some engaging, crazy conversation, you need to be with us on Saturday nights for Have a Conversation After Dark. If you missed the last one, I beg of you, go back and watch it. I beg of you, go back and watch it. If you saw some clips already, you already know there was a lot of jokes, and it was something serious. So make sure that you're checking that out. That is Saturdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is late night because the conversation is late night worthy. All right. So make sure you're there for us. If this is your first time to Inside the Relationship, welcome. We are passionate about relationships and seeing relationships thrive. And we would love for you to be a part of the community. So follow us wherever you're watching this right now. And we would love for you to continue to be a part of our community. All right. For those of you who heard me talk about the book, it's Overcoming the Man Laws for the Man Who Wants to Be His Best Despite what he was taught. You can either get that from me directly on our website, or you can go to Amazon and grab that as well. All right. So we're going to get out of here. Blessings on you. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a fantastic weekend. Have a conversation. Learn each other. Grow together.
Together.
All right. We out of here. Blessings on you.
Good night, everyone.
Later.